So as you know, I'm an engineer by trade, and I come from one of the least religious countries in the world, and I was very skeptical when I was stepping into this world. So I largely looked at it from the lens of, scientific approach and what happens in the brain. However, the reality is we don't know. Like there was not enough science done yet to explain how come an experience with the molecule that is out of your body within the next 4 or 5 hours, how can it change your life forever? So there is no explanation. And now we are experiencing something that's called a psychedelic renaissance, and the research is continued again, and maybe eventually we'll be able to know, but the reality is there is no good explanation on how it works. What we do know is that it does work, and I've seen it myself. I'm not a scientist, not somebody who can conduct a study, but if you look at anecdotal studies, then yes, it definitely helps. And from my understanding, what happens is somehow this compounds, and not just DMT alone, because ayahuasca consists of many other different alkaloids, harmons. It's a complex medicine. To simplify it to just a DMT, it's kind of like saying if you go and eat ramen, that ramen contains an egg, right? But this is a very, very simplified version. So obviously it is a part of it, it is an ingredient, and it's a big part of it, because that's the part that causes visions, and that's what people like to focus on. But in reality, there's many other compounds, and the medicine alone, after working in this field for a long time, I realized that there's also the spiritual side of it, the energetical body, the work that the shaman does, because we work with indigenous shamans. And I have since then like flexed my beliefs a little bit to now include that this is absolutely a part of it. So what happens, to simplify it and try to understand it, somehow in the process of drinking ayahuasca, your ego dissolves. And your ego is that part of your brain that controls your behavior, and it protects you from the outer environment. But when it goes away for a second, it's kind of like stopping a heart to perform open heart surgery. So it goes away, and while it's away, you're able to rebuild it a little bit. Our egos, they're absolutely a necessary mental construct. They drive our lives. Your ego is the reason why you're recording this podcast, and mine is the reason why I'm participating. However, as a life happens and as trauma happens, our egos, they become a little bit overreactive and overprotective. And there are parts of our egos that don't allow us to be happy, because when you have to see something as love and joy, instead, it chooses to see it as a threat. And what happens during this work with ayahuasca and both integration afterwards is you're able to let go of that ego and rebuild it a little bit by the time it comes back. So you're a little more happier and a little less reactive. That would be my way of explaining it. Indigenous people would say when you're drinking the medicine, you get connected to the plant spirit, and it heals you and it guides you. I've experienced that myself, but I am definitely no authority to say exactly what happens. Some people say you're talking to your subconscious. Other people say you're talking to God through that medicine. There's many explanations. I don't know which one is true, but I do know that if you drink that medicine, you will get answers, and your mental health issues will see an improvement.